All right. Anyways, let's call our meeting to order. I think somebody else may have just joined in. Jay, once again, I do want to say thanks for taking the minutes from last meeting. I had one or two comments to you. I think we just took out Gary Wickman as a member of the committee, and we did have to add the link of the recording.
And that was there on the template, so that was fine. And Nora and I had a conversation, so I incorporated her comments as well. Yep.
Okay, good. Anything? You just want to review anything from the minutes that we had to change, or was it just kind of technical stuff?
I don't think there was. Well, it was technical. It was more or less, what was said versus what was not said, that kind of thing.
I think it's a good idea to share those revised minutes if there's anything other than a minor glitch. I think it's a good idea to share them with the board, with the committee, so they know what they're voting on. Not that they're going to have a problem, but.
Okay.
They will be reshared. I had to go to Google Docs and back to Word and, a few other places. But
we have to vote on them tonight.
Okay.
I think.
So in the
do you want to just can you email them to everybody, or is that?
Yep. I can.
Or maybe we'll just do that. We'll approve them at the end of the meeting, so everybody can just take a quick glance at them, and we'll kind of
that'll
go through
work.
the meeting as. Okay. All right, great. Let me just say, just really quick, Jay, are you connected to that 667 number only, or do you also have the audio of the WebEx?
I'm on WebEx and that phone, but it's turned off.
I don't think there's anybody else on that phone number, so I might just disconnect that because I'm getting a lot of feedback and it's starting to give me a headache. So I'm just going to end that. Hopefully I don't lose you. If I do, I'll call right back. All right, is everybody there?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we do need to vote on a secretary. And Jay, I should first ask, are you willing and able to continue the duties?
I am willing. You need to decide if I'm able. I think. But
you're able.
There's nothing to decide.
I think they used to call this impressment, back in the British Navy days.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah,
what was that word,
Shanghai.
Jay?
Impressment.
Impressment. Okay.
Being impressed into service.
Yeah.
Ah.
We want you and you have no choice, kind of thing.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
But sometimes people ask, what are the requirements to be accepted? I'm like, if you've got a pulse and a checkbook, you are good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways.
So I move that we approve.
Formal vote.
I move that we approve Jay Cosgrove as our secretary.
Seconded.
Nate is seconding. All in favor.
Okay.
Excellent. So just really quickly, the people we are missing right now, we are missing Anne and we are missing Mike, it looks like.
And we're missing the vacancy.
Yeah. And we're missing our vacancy too. So
right.
We still do have a quorum. So that would be, but that's the next thing on my, actually that's probably the next thing on my list though is, has anybody heard from anybody or spoken to anybody who seems like they might be interested? I know somebody said that Sarah Roy might be interested, or when they talked to her.
So I did. I haven't heard a final back from her, but I think first there was a concern on her party, but I went back to her and I don't think I got a final response from her. So I will reach out again just to be sure.
Okay. You did get a little direction from the first select woman's office about party.
Yeah, you changed. You sent that and said it was different than what we had assumed during the last meeting.
Okay.
So I knew that.
Okay.
Can you share that with the committee? Because
no, he did.
We should all know that.
He wrote to the committee and told us that afterwards. Let me see if I can find that. Because I don't want to miss.
I thought it was Laura that had reached out, and then you for.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what with the last meeting I shared that, but is that different than what I shared at the last?
Yes, I thought something came back that we could. I can't remember now. It was such a long time ago. Let me just check.
Okay.
Here's somebody typing.
I got it right here. 4 Dems. We can replace someone from any party as there would still be no more than 5 of one.
That's what I said at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Jen Carpenter told me that.
Yeah, that was as of the 21st.
I felt like you told me that right after or something, because originally we thought it had to be one party. Whatever it was, I did indicate that to her. But I just got to go back and check what I, because she just may not have been ready. She's very busy with a lot of stuff.
A guy I know through cycling also reached out to me, and he's maybe interested as well. So there could be a secondary person. So
That's good.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, the process for how it happens is that the person actually has to officially apply to the first select woman's office, and then we go from there, basically.
Right.
But they could start with start with
So
reaching
wait,
out to me or whatever.
apply, who do they apply with first?
Through the town.
First select woman. Well, first is like reach out to us, right? Reach out to me or something, and then we can have a talk. And then if they're interested, well, I just have to. This happens like once every 2 years, so I have to just go back, make sure I'm doing everything correctly.
Yeah.
But there was, we just have to, make sure we follow because they're appointed by the first select woman.
Right.
There's if you go on the website for where they advertise these positions, they tell you exactly what form to fill out and how to send it in. It's on the town's website, but Keith can direct somebody there.
And Keith, you're going to have another vacancy in a month.
Who's that? Are you leaving?
Yeah, because my term ends November 2020.
Really?
But it can't be renewed, are you sure?
I'm already on my second term. So this is my second re-up.
Well, it's funny. You might check with Jen Carpenter because the partial terms from when we started, because you were original, correct?
Yes.
Apparently the partial terms from when we started don't count.
Oh, all right.
I'm pretty sure. So I don't know when you say second, if that's 2 full terms or a partial term. So check with Jen, because I don't know.
And
Hopefully you'll be willing to continue to serve if possible, though.
And Anne is also, her term also expires November 2020, but I think she might be only on her first term because she wasn't an original to the committee. So
That
she
is correct.
can renew easily.
That is correct.
Just do about
You may have to be off, but it's not clear that you do.
All right.
I just
I'll write
don't
to
know.
Jen. I'll
Yeah.
write to Jen before the next meeting so we know.
So really quick though, Linda, are you willing to continue to serve if possible?
I think so, Keith. I didn't even give it any thought because I just thought my term was over. So
You're not getting away that easily.
You don't even get the opportunity to say no.
Impressment.
Let me find out if I can re-up. So
Okay, I will email Jennifer because I think I should probably know that as well.
Yeah.
What happens at everybody's term because when everybody's up. So, do you have a list of everybody's terms? It seems like you're looking at
it's
something.
actually on the website. If you go to members on the website, it actually lists everybody's term, and that's how I realized that Anne's term was up too. And then the next one is Mike is 2021, and then everybody else is 2022 or 2023. You're not until 2023, Keith.
But that doesn't tell you how many terms you've had. That's
Right.
where
It does not tell you.
that's
how
where
many-
it falls apart. Because in 2023, Keith, you and I are both up at the same time. We will have exhausted our 2 full terms. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then does that mean that we can no longer serve on the committee, or we can't
Correct.
act in our current roles?
We can no longer
Right.
serve.
So I think, Linda, you and I are similar because they had rotated. They couldn't have everyone do the same terms. So
That's right.
I have to check on mine, and I think you, Ed, and I were similar.
Yes.
So we might be able to do that 2 more years, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're listed from November 2018 to November 2022, Karen.
2022. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe they did a longer term on the second. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think the terms are 4 years normally. The full terms are 4 years. And I think the partial terms don't count.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Laura, I think I think there was even the availability of a 6-year term. I think that's where it was different because you think how long we've already been on the committee. So
Could be.
I think it was something like that, so that we may have done 4 years initially and then another, I don't know. We'll have to ask.
Well, I think they made it's 6 years if you counted the partial year. It's sort of saying the same thing. So the first partial year didn't count towards your term. It's
Right.
2 full 4-year terms.
Yeah.
Is I think the deal. I could be.
All right, I'll just reach out and find out just exactly.
Yeah, we'll find out. I wasn't aware of that. I knew about the 2 terms, but I didn't realize there was some aspect of the partial that could play into it. So good.
Okay.
Great.
We'll figure that out. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing that up too. I wouldn't have probably caught that. So it doesn't look like Bill will be able to join us. He did send me an email about a couple of updates, and I'm just trying to find them. And see, like I had so many responses and stuff like that. He was going to update us on the Stratfield Four Corners public meeting from, I guess it's coming up on 10/19.
Yep.
There's another one about the Thursday, the 22nd, the Southport connectivity meeting at 7. He basically
What date is that?
Join those meetings. The Four Corners is on the 19th at 6:30, and the Southport connectivity is on Thursday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. And the links to join those meetings are on the website. He did say that.
Okay.
And then let me just see if I can find his other email, because he did send me a second email that, hold on a second. He, Stratfield Business. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to forward this to you guys. He sent it just to me. Hold on a second. Forward, site committee. I haven't edited Ed's name off yet. There we go. So I just sent you the links to that. And then there was one other one. I thought he had another one. We had some bullet points he was going to tell me.
Well, he sent something to all of us about, or maybe, I think it was from the MetroCog about, I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
There was an active transportation grant and complete streets information exchange webinar series. He just sent that to you and me.
Oh, okay.
It's a complete streets information exchange webinar on the 28th and 29th from 8 to 12. I was just going to forward this to so everybody has it again. I probably won't be able to join that, but just so you know, we have, at least everybody has it in there. Anybody's able to join.
And what was your take on this and how useful it might be? I was hoping Bill would be at the meeting tonight so he could comment on what he thought this might provide us.
I don't know, actually. He seemed to think it was like something about like, it seemed more for maybe like, town type of people that had like a responsibility to do some of this, but he didn't really provide a lot of other additional information.
Yeah, because I had trouble reading it, deciding whether this was something that I really wanted to participate in or not.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
All right, Santina again. She's not going to be able to make it, and of course, I did see Gary Wickman again. He just doesn't do the Zoom thing, so we'll kind of just have to glance over those. The one thing I did want to share with everybody is that Bill Pollock did send an email to Bill, Hurley, Santina, and myself. I'm just going to read it for everybody. He said, I wanted to pass along a big thank you in capital letters for the great work and support of the new sidewalk along Wilson Street from Valley Road to Buena Vista. It has already been a very big hit in the neighborhood, and it's a great model for what can be done further down the road. pun intended, his words.
Mhm.
Please feel free to share my comments with the rest of the community and keep up the great work. So it was, it's nice to, Bill did send that out
That's
there.
great.
I did want to remember Karen and Mike and I were going to try to connect and try to put together an article. I do apologize. It's just been extremely busy. But let's try to put something on the calendar for next week and try to get an article about that, at least put together with Bill's input, Santina's input, and,
Yeah, I did send Santina a bunch of pictures, sort of the midway pictures, the end pictures, and then Sarah sent me some of the pictures beforehand. So we definitely should coordinate with Santina to see if she did anything.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind just zipping those up and sending them over to me, that would be great too, just to have, so I have them.
I sent you some of them, but I'll send you the rest.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 of them that you had sent me.
And I'm digressing, but there are a couple things that this makes me think about. That one of the main reasons this happened was because of the action of the community.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we would have come up with this on our own. And I think it's great, absolutely wonderful that we were able to work with the residents and come up with a solution with Bill Hurley and the residents and whatever. But the model here is really that the residents have to speak up because we don't know enough of where these problem spots are.
Yeah.
And we gotta be careful about saying we did this as the Bike Ped Committee. We gotta be really careful to say that this was with the outreach from the residents.
No, and I think that's a very good point, and I think that's what I would like to make sure that we're not doing is taking credit for things like this, but at least and again, with the input of Santina and Bill, again, let people know that this was what the process was. It was the
Right.
residents coming to a meeting, speaking to us as a group, putting this in front of both us, but also the health department and town engineering. And then they went as actual town employees to the various different departments or whatever. But it wasn't just like, hey, this is a great idea, let's spend some money. It was, the public is coming to us, they're making a proposal, they have some ideas. We've brought it to the powers that be are actually at the table. And from that point, it kind of took on a life of its own through the town.
Exactly. And you could use the word that we advocate on their behalf. That's fair, but just be careful that this isn't something we did.
No, I agree. And
I
guess
don't think it's ever. I don't feel like it's ever been mentioned as it's something that we did. But
we haven't mentioned it at all.
Yeah,
it's not been mentioned at all. I'm just saying we got to be careful in the way we write this to not claim credit to give.
You mean when we write something?
That's right.
We would. I don't think any of us would ever claim that. Yeah.
I don't think so, but I'm just putting a thought in people's mind to make sure the residents get the credit.
Yeah, and well, the other thing too is that I would, again, we have to make sure that it really does meet the definition of complete streets type of action. And, Bill early mentioned at the last meeting, he thinks that it does, but the idea of trying to use projects like this as a way to educate what exactly complete streets means. And,
that's
when
great.
it talks about, and I think that's an important aspect because, again, if we just say we have a complete streets policy, but we don't have anything that, even just shows the process of how it works, making sure we're looking at all users of the road. And I think that'll maybe bring me into the next item that was on the agenda.
But I just want to say, Keith, before you go to the next item, I really like what you just said. That's a good thing to stress, and how this is a application of our complete streets policy and how important it is. Anyway, so go on.
Oh, no, thank you. So yeah, I got an email from a woman named, I think it's a woman, Ali B. Bonaventura. And I'm just going to read it to you. She said, I'm wondering about the intersection of Harbor Road and Rose Hill Road in Southport. For those of you who know, that's kind of right down by the little deli and Sammy's Pizza and like that corner right there. She says, multiple mornings each year, I slow down when coming from Fairfield, headed to Westport at this intersection. And 9 times out of 10, if there's a car that's on Rose Hill that's looking down the hill and turning left, they're turning into them. I'm wondering about painting something on the roadway at that intersection on Rose Hill, if not a sign on Harbor Road. Then she said I'd be happy to discuss, and we never were able to connect. So I do have to reach back out to her. But I just wanted to bring it up. It seemed very similar to the type of comment on the Wilson as well, where and I actually biked over there the other day just to check it out. I've been there a million times, but it's that big intersection.
It's 5 roads, isn't it?
No,
Keith, it's 5 roads.
that's not Harbor. Harbor is along the water. That's Harbor.
Oh, that's right.
That's Pequot and Rose Hill.
Okay.
It's just that five-way intersection.
So she mentioned Harbor, correct?
Right. And it's a hard hill. It's a hard intersection. There are huge hedges on either side there. So if you're on Rose Hill and you come to the stop sign, you have zero visibility either direction. So you're counting on the cars that are on Harbor to completely come to a stop.
So that's really different than Wilson, because it's not a pedestrian issue. It's a vehicle visibility issue. Correct?
I mean, it could be. There are pedestrians. There's quite a few pedestrian crossings. If you're looking at it, it is Pequot Avenue, but there are the pedestrian crossings between the 2 different sides of the road or going across it. Bike crossing, that is a hard thing to navigate when you got people coming from all different
No, but
directions.
I don't think there is a pedestrian crossing sidewalk there. I think the issue is visibility for whomever is going on to Harbor Road. And
Actually,
the hedges are in the way.
The main issue is, why is this person using that road, which is a local street, as a thoroughfare to get from Fairfield to Westport? I mean, at the end of the day, she should be using the post road. That's what that road is for. This is a neighborhood street that is better served to allow the people who live in the neighborhood access to their homes.
Yeah.
I mean,
This also reminds me of the issue we had down near the school on, Beach Road that goes past the town hall, that there's a visitor problem down there. And Bill Hurley said it was a real problem to get the owner to take down the bushes that were in the way. So it's worthwhile getting an understanding of the exact problem, but I would talk to Bill Hurley before we get too thick into it.
Well, I also need to do my due diligence and talk to her and find out exactly, she may be a resident that lives there. I didn't have a chance to actually connect as well, but that's something that I do want to put on my list. So I do see Santina jumped on. So maybe Santina, if you're here, I see you unmuting yourself. We can zip back in time a little bit. I heard you're having a little bit of an outbreak issue.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Gosh.
Everything's great. So, yes, but I just finished that stuff, so I figured I'd hop on. I don't have much to report, and I apologize. COVID has kind of taken over my life, and that's an understatement. I did talk
as long as you don't have it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I do not have it, but
that's a good thing.
There are quite, and I'm sure from Sacred Heart, there's quite a bit of people who do have it in town. We've been getting a lot of thank you notes and letters and emails, which has been very much appreciated from the folks at Wilson Street. And I emailed the state, and they were super happy that the money went to good use. So one of the things that they asked me was to kind of send them a definite plan on what we want to spend the money on for this year. So again, it's the $9,200 and something dollars. I know when we took the vote, we weren't sure if we were going to do a second phase at Wilson Street. I would kind of like to stick with the pedestrian stuff for at least this round of grant funding. So I don't know if anyone has any ideas, and then maybe, next month or, in December, we can kind of finalize an idea so I can let the state know.
can you just maybe make sure we're all on the same page? The 9,000, we have an additional 9,000 to spend on something else, correct?
That's correct. Yep. So it's a 3-year block, right? So it's a 3-year, and each year we get like $9,200 and something dollars. So we already spent the first year on Wilson Street. We went over budget by like $27 or something. So we have another round of like about $9,200.
Okay. Have you been contacted by any other people? I mean, it would be nice if Bill was on the call about other pedestrian areas. Remember something we talked about, a lamb path, goat path, cow path, something like that somewhere. I don't remember what that was.
Yeah.
At the circle.
The goat trail. Yep. At the circle.
Okay.
So we had talked about that. And then that's really the only one I know. I know some other folks have kind of come to the committee asking for sidewalks. But if I do remember correctly, conversations with Bill, some of those projects would be far more than what we have. So, I don't know if anyone has any thoughts.
I would just say I kind of like the idea of doing something that's like the trail versus we just did the sidewalk. We do it, maybe do some trail. We've done the biking, like sort of hitting different avenues, so to speak. But I'd like to see exactly sort of where it is and what it would accomplish.
Yeah, it'd be good to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
So I think I have something from a while ago, like when we first talked about this, and I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I have some pictures and I have, I think, an explanation and how much it would cost. So I can send that, Karen, or
Yeah,
Laura, can you guys just remind me? And I'm so sorry, I'm just like so.
I'll email you right now.
Okay. And if you don't hear
I think
from
it was
me,
Karen and Nate working together on sidewalk issues, was it not?
For the goat trail? This was a while ago, though, that we.
Yeah, it was. I do remember it, but it's been some time.
So yeah, if you can just email me, and if you don't hear from me, please email me again. I really apologize, but it's just.
I think I can speak for everybody. We completely understand.
I feel so bad because like a lot of my other work has just kind of fallen, off to the sides, but unfortunately.
And it's probably not going away for a while.
Santina, as you're talking about,
but yeah,
you're talking about the goat sidewalk.
Tells me it's only going to get like a little bit worse. Yep. So you're kind of like
Santina, just for clarification, you're talking about that goat sidewalk. What's that?
Yeah. So they call them goat trails, and it's at the circle, like where that like little patch of grass. And if you look at like the satellites, you'll see that there's no grass where people are constantly.
So it's just a sidewalk.
It's grass, and then essentially.
So what it is a sidewalk that goes from point A to point B across that expanse that's grass. The only comment I would make on that is there's a redesign of that whole area that's going in, and I don't know if some of that sidewalk would get cut away, but that may take years.
Yeah, and I can ask Bill about that too. So that's all I kind of have.
All right. I just turned my video up for a second. I wasn't sure if it was me or you. I wasn't able to hear very well. But yeah, thank you, Santina. Was there any other questions from anybody for Santina before she goes?
Well, and back on the same subject of using that money, Ann Cadis had wanted to try to suggest some places we could do little bump outs for pedestrians in certain places in town. which none of us have come up with any ideas to date. I don't know if we should still pursue that, or what do you think?
I think we should come up with whatever ideas we have and then see.
Yeah, then we can pick.
Laura, do you mean like a traffic calming bump out? Like to narrow
Correct.
the road? Okay.
To narrow the road, if we have any particular intersections where we think that could be useful. It's always a problem with snow plowing. The plows go, right around the corner, and now you got a bump out that you got to navigate.
Yeah.
But if there's a particularly bad place where pedestrians need a little less or more time, or no, they need to be able to get across the intersection in time before the light changes. They're planning on doing it at the Stratfield corner. That's one of the things that's going to happen on the 1019 comment. That's one of the things they're hoping to do. So if we can think of any other place where there's a real pedestrian issue, but that the pedestrians need more time to cross the street.
Yeah,
That would be worth
Andy
throwing
mentioned
into the
maybe
mix.
by like the YMCA. There was a couple of places, so maybe we'll defer to the next meeting when she's back. Hopefully, I didn't hear from her before the meeting, with an email. So,
She didn't have anything. She told me that nothing's come in. So
okay.
she's frustrated that nobody's sending anything in. So it's hard. It's hard. I've been racking my brain of places that seem like they would work, and I haven't come up with one. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Santina. I hope everything works out and you can get some rest.
All right, thanks guys. And I apologize, but feel free to hound me if you need something from me, okay?
Good luck with everything.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, nice to hear you.
Yeah.
All right, bye guys.
Thanks. So yeah, basically, to tell you the truth, like on the rest of the agenda, there's nothing really else that I had. I didn't get any comments from anybody else, so I'm not sure if people want to just take a minute, talk about anything, or see what's next. It is very difficult. These online meetings are not as easy as when we're seeing people face to face. I will say that, and I'm a bit zoomed out myself every day.
Well, one thing, maybe we can talk about, and I don't know if we can get anywhere, but I'm frustrated with the ability of this committee to do much, because there's not many people other than Bill Hurley in town who really interact with us and help us. And I don't know how more people who are in town government involved with what we're doing. Anybody have any thoughts?
You don't think we get support?
We don't get support. We don't get interest. I mean, like the first select woman put it on us to try to fix some problem when somebody complained. We can't fix those problems. We can only recommend solutions. And I don't see people reaching out to us to actually be in the planning process to help out. And I don't know how we can improve that.
Are you speaking about inviting people to, as guests, or just getting people more involved? Because, economic development would be a great, after last week's meeting where we found out there was a website with all sorts of tourist-oriented items which didn't encompass what had been done by the committee.
I'm talking about either or. You're on the right track. Yeah, that, by the way, as mentioning, they've put out their website with the original bike tours that they recommended, which do not necessarily use our bike routes.
Right.
Oh.
And they don't reference our bike routes. So, because I sent something to them suggesting that they try to stick with our bike routes mainly, but they just didn't.
Oh,
So,
Well, I mean, as a committee, we could write a letter, something saying to them that we're disappointed that they aren't, taking into account these bike routes that we have in place.
that would have to come from Keith.
Well, that's what I mean. I said as a committee, if we, right, but.
Yeah, I mean, again, if we want to put something together, I'm happy to, be part of it or, just get it together, but happy to send it on. But, I do agree. I think this particular year has been a difficult year just because it has been harder to connect with people. I mean,
yes.
I did have a chance to meet with the first select woman. I think overall, I'm glad things like the Wilson project happened. I'm glad that people came to our committee meeting. I think that was the last meeting we had in person when we had some people there, or the second to last. But I'm hopeful that as the word gets out, as different projects get out, as we can promote these projects a bit more to educate people, then people will start coming. And again, almost be careful what you wish for, because if everybody starts banging down the door saying, I want a sidewalk here, I want a bump out there. Again, we don't have the power or the money to do these kind of things. It is a difficult position. We are just a volunteer committee. So, but if you can be a forum where people can bring their concerns, their ideas, even better than concerns, the ideas for ways to improve things, and try to get to the next level. But it is frustrating sometimes because not a lot of people in the town really do know what we're doing.
Yeah, you're thinking like I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say though, like towards when we, in January and February, it was encouraging though, because we do have Bill at the meetings, we do have Santina at the meetings, we did have the police department at the meetings, so at least we had a voice or a connection. Just with these last couple of months, it really is a lot more difficult to get the support of others. I mean, even Tony Long had reached out to me and had me on his pedestrian bike and drunk driving. I was one of the speakers on his thing. So the more that we can do that, the better. I'm hopeful that I'm also thankful that some of our bike routes are finally being used. I do go out there in town, and it is nice to see people riding quite a bit more and utilizing the routes and the places that we've set up, and I hope we can continue to do that. We added the lake and beach, and if there's other ones that we want to try to do and sign them, just got to keep piece by piece moving forward. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I think Laura, Linda, Karen, we've been here since the beginning, and everybody else, you guys aren't even newbies anymore. So, but. That was one of the other things that we had done a little bit more in the past as well. We had kind of assigned people to be responsible for reaching out to various different groups and making that connection. I think that's fallen by the wayside again, and a lot just because we're not able to physically, schedule a meeting where we could drop in. It's Zoom's one thing, but when you're actually physically sitting in somebody's office, it's a lot harder to get kicked out.
I just have to put in one comment. Sarah Roy just said she's interested.
Good. Can you just ask her to
Excellent.
send me a quick email, and we'll have a chance. I'll connect with her.
I'll get her phone number for you.
Thank you. Or I think I have her email too, but because she emailed me
Oh, okay.
a while ago. I'll look it up.
Okay.
All right. Nate, you got anything in particular that's on your mind, or?
Oh, let me unmute. You would think that I never use these. I'm on Zoom all day as well. I sort of agree with Laura that to getting some buy-in from the powers that be in town might be nice. And showing a unified front where we've talked about this, sort of ad nauseum, with more people riding bikes and more people feeling safe on our roads. It makes the town more livable, which makes property values increase, which makes our schools better, which gets us more tax dollars. That really is a self-feeding ecosystem if we can get everyone on the same page and make the town a better place for us all to recreate. And it is disappointing to hear that that I'm not alone in feeling that we don't get really buy-in from some of the other power brokers in town, whether it's the RTM board or, I mean, that Brian Farnan guy, at least he made the attempt to. He came and stopped by a meeting last year to talk about. He wanted to put speed bumps in, and of course they said no, we can't do that. But at least he showed up to the meeting. So yeah, I think it might be a good thing for us to focus on in the new year. Hello there.
There you go.
We have a new member.
That was quick.
Wow, lovable.
Yes.
Maybe we.
Democrat, Republican, or undecided.
Definitely undecided.
Whichever one has more meat.
Equal opportunity fire hydrants.
Here's an idea. Maybe we could invite different town representatives to our meeting. Each meeting, try to get somebody to come.
Well, that's kind of what I thought you were leading to, was having either cameos, guest appearances, whatever you want to call them. So people who may not be aware, but are probably, to Nate's point, part of the system, part of the ecosystem. That back to discussions about the inclusivity of the committee in any projects around, whether there's official business or not, just to have a stamp or some kind of approval process. It's not official, but it's one that says, yes, we think this is a good idea. That's part of that, being part of all the activity.
We've had Emma again at a meeting when she talked about the plan they were putting together, but maybe she could come sometime and we could talk as a group about how to work with them.
Emmeline?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that, it would be great to have people come to our meetings. It would also be good if we were able to attend theirs as well, even if we had just a 2-minute elevator pitch of who we are and what we do, to go to the RTM, to go once again to the Board of Selectmen. Whoever it may be, Parks and Rec. And we had started doing that in the past, even if it wasn't going to one of their meetings, but at least scheduling meetings with them. I think we had a spreadsheet at one point that had the key stakeholders, and various members of the committee were kind of assigned to reach out to them. So that seems like something we could resurrect. Again, hopefully as things start opening up a bit more, we can formalize that a little bit. Maybe even over the winter when there's not a lot of biking to be done, we could schedule some of those things.
That would be a good idea.
The benefit of that is it seems as if we're not going to have a lot of money to do big capital projects over at least the next 12 months. So putting a new route in town is probably not going to happen because it's just not the money to do that. But getting us acknowledged and sort of reiterating how important this committee and what the work that we do is in the town will set us up for future success when we do maybe have some money in a year or two.
Let me give you one example in particular where I think we as a group could just do more, and it's with planning and zoning. I have personally attended, it's via Zoom or WebEx, whatever they're using, some of the planning and zoning committee meetings. There have been several new developments that they've had forums, open forums, you comment. They're putting in apartments here and apartments there. And certainly we can comment on whether they're pedestrian and bike friendly. And I tried to get early on when we put the complete streets policy in place to get them to give me things that they were working on. And they said, well, you can read our agendas and you can come and speak. And I've shared a lot with the bike committee, but nobody knows besides me.
It is. We just have to probably make a make a plan and kind of almost, people are willing and kind of assign different people to do different things if we're able to. But I think, this is definitely something worth, I'm making notes about this because I'd like to include this maybe in next month's minutes. I'll take a look at some of the various, town committees, even the sustainability committee. We haven't connected with them as much as, as we have in the
that's
past.
probably a really good one to connect with.
Yeah.
Keith, that's
Yeah,
probably
Get in on one of their meetings sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even have them come to one of ours and just to give us an update of what's going on. Just again to establish, even they don't have to be on for more than 5 minutes. Just to have a reconnection and just any ideas that may come up. I'll put that in.
Do we know anybody on the sustainability committee?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's, Scott Thompson is the head of it. Mary Hogue is on the sustainability. There's a couple of them.
I'm happy to reach out to Mary.
I'll reach out to them.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I'm happy to reach out to Scott.
Okay.
I'll take the sustainability. I'll see if I can invite them to next month's meeting.
I think that's a great one.
The other thing, we talked about this in the past too, and I don't think we've ever taken action on it, but we all live in different districts of town, and reaching out to some of the various districts, the RTM reps or whoever they may be, to allow them to come into our meeting, and we could have a few minutes with them as well. Maybe here, when I lived in Southport, the person that was doing it, Michael Hurley, he would constantly send me emails and things like that, and he did connect with me once or twice. But invite them. They're more than, I'm more than happy to let them voice their concerns, and maybe that's where we'll come up with some ideas for these sidewalk projects or pedestrian projects or whatever.
All right. General needs.
Yeah.
These are all good thoughts. I'm glad I brought it up.
Keith, I think that relationship list we had was in a Google Doc.
It was. I'll see if I can dig it up.
Yeah, if you can't, let me know. I might have a link somewhere in the file. So
I can probably do it right now.
The chimichurri, we'll see if you want chicken's
See if I can find it. It might take me a little bit of time. Oh, here it is. Yes, our contacts and timelines. 2016.
been a little while.
It's been a long time. Let's see really quick. Still loading.
We would have to go through and edit because I'm sure there's a lot of changes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, massive changes. But I think let's start with the sustainability committee. I just feel like that's an easy win. We have connections with Mary and Scott right away.
I'm in contact with Mary like every week about some other things. I'm going to see her next Wednesday. So that's easy.
That's just such an, she's very interested and always involved in our committee. Yeah. So it's just a great starting point. And she may even be able to suggest, the next step in terms of connectivity, other committees that she's working with, which would be natural connections for us. So let's do that.
I can talk to her about that next week.
Great. Tell her I said hi.
I just shared it with you.
So why don't we all go through and update that, and then see if we can come up with some additional ideas for the next meeting, but try to have somebody from the sustainable committee at the next meeting.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. I mean, like I said,
what's
this hasn't
the date of the next meeting?
2016.
November.
Date of the next meeting is the third Thursday of the month. Sorry.
That's right.
I just thought maybe you had it.
Karen, we've only been doing this for the last 6 years.
I know. I just don't have my calendar.
The 19th.
So it's before
The
Thanksgiving.
19th of November.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt. All right. I will ask.
Isn't that Thanksgiving? No.
No, it's before
Thanksgiving's
Thanksgiving.
next week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is very late this year.
Oh, the Thanksgiving is the fourth Thursday of the month, in case you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
And
So we will never.
made that the custom, I guess. Or, you know which president it was that made Thanksgiving the holiday?
No.
I think it was FDR, but I have to look that up.
Well, we could Google it.
Well, there's a famous governor. Wilbur Cross has the famous address, and he was the governor in Connecticut before FDR was president.
President Roosevelt.
There you go.
Sign
Made
the
it national
Very
resolution
holiday.
good.
on December 26, 1941, establishing the fourth Thursday in November as the federal Thanksgiving holiday.
Yay.
Nothing
There you
like
have it.
war to push you into a national holiday.
I know that was just
True.
3 weeks after Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh, there you go.
All right, what else is happening? Anything else that we need to discuss?
Good suggestion, Laura.
Outreach.
Outreach is we're gonna kick our outreach into overdrive next couple of meetings.
I think that's a good idea. Can't really hold any
All right.
events, so
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a new member sooner rather than later.
It does have to be approved by the Board of Selectmen, correct?
Yes, they do.
But they do meet twice a month.
And we can always have, if somebody is interested in joining, they can always join as a member of the public. They just can't vote on
Yeah.
things.
Right,
yeah, they can, that's great. Yeah.
that's right.
Keith, I'm just confirming the email she wants me to use and I'll send it to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Karen. Okay, well, I'm tired.
So
I have a cold.
I'm hungry.
I sent those minutes. Do you want
Oh,
to?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
You're right, you're right.
Oh,
You're right.
thanks, Jay.
Let's do that
All right.
really quickly. Hold on.
Happened early. And I incorporated what Laura, what you had added or requested. I think
So I
that-
move that we approve the minutes as prepared by the
I'm just gonna read
secretary.
them quickly.
And you can all second it when, somebody can
Yeah.
second it when they're ready.
that
Jay,
makes
I
us-
didn't get
I'm gonna
them,
second
but
it.
that's okay.
all right, I
You're
sent
on
it to.
It was just a response to like one of the last emails, so it's probably buried in like a
Yeah, right.
string.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found it. Yep.
Okay.
Can I second as the chair? Can I second it?
Yes. I
I'm
think,
seconding the approval of the minutes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Laura, point of order, as somebody who wasn't at the meeting, do I approve or not approve? If I was,
you know, technically no, but we'll just say it was unanimous.
fine, works for me.
Unanimous. It's,
I read it and it made sense, so I learned a lot from it.
you know, technically you have to abstain, but
Yeah,
if we
But
just
let's
say
not.
it's unanimous, that there's no,
yeah, let's not go there.
Okay.
you can just say they're approved without objection, actually, Jay.
Yes,
Mhm.
perfect, perfect.
That's simpler.
So
Right.
what happens to them now?
You send them to
So
the,
yeah, I think you have to send them to the town clerk and and to the webmaster and just ask that they add them to the website.
Okay.
And the
What
address
do-
is like webmaster at Fairfield. It's in one of the it's in like the notice that I send out about the
Okay.
what's it called, the
Yep.
the minutes. It says like webmaster, I think, or website or something.
All right.
All right, I'm going to officially call this meeting to a close. All in favor, raise your hand, then I'm going to stop recording. All right, Jay, raise your hand. All right, good.
All right.
Unanimous.